Hey y'all, welcome to your June 2020 pick a card reading. These will be intuitive messages, so whatever comes through, comes through. The suggestion for you is to take a look at the cards, take a look at the crystals, maybe take a deep breath, and see which one or ones pull your attention. There might be more than one message here for you. The other thing that I would say is that if you hear a message that you know may help a friend or a family member or somebody that you know, please feel free to share, if I could speak, please feel free to share this message with them. The other thing I would say would be the timestamps, of course, will be in the description box. Also, if you would like a personal reading with me, contact information on how you can get a hold of me is also in the description box. So up on the screen, you should see 4 cards with 4 crystals. The first crystal is a Dalmation Jasper. The second one is Kyanite. The third one is maybe a little less well known. It's called Ulexite. It's U-L-E-X-I-T-E is how it's spelled. You can look that up and see what that one's about. And the fourth one is an Amethyst. So make your selection, and we will go ahead and get started, all right? All right, for those of you that picked the Dalmation Jasper, let's take a look at your oracle message first, and then we'll get into the tarot. So you have Coyote Spirit in reverse, trust in divine detours. So let's see what the book has to say about that one. I want to read you the message. So because it's in reverse, we're going to read the protection message, which says, sometimes a goal is so enticing and alluring that you lose your footing in pursuit. You begin to fixate on capturing this prize, whether it be an opportunity you have always wanted, a relationship with that elusive someone, or the promise of that big break. Coyote Spirit warns you that this Coyote Spirit warns you that this trickster energy seducing you will yield nothing but disappointment and unnecessary heartache if you let yourself be fooled. Great Spirit wants the best for you. So when your plans go topsy-turvy, know the Coyote Spirit is present to protect and bless you. Listen to her gentle warning not to take the world too seriously or become too attached to the form and timing of your desire. Something better is beckoning. If you learn your lesson and lighten your heart, it will not be long before you see that crooked though the path may be, you were on the right one all along. Okay, so maybe we have some trickster energy coming in for you with this Coyote Spirit. Let's see what we have for the tarot to get started, and then of course we'll get some clarifiers. We have the 4 of Pentacles, the 8 of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and the 6 of Swords. So coupled with the Coyote Spirit message that I just read, it looks like you have left likely a relationship of some variety, possibly a romantic one with this Ace of Cups, and that with this 6 of Swords, that you're moving on, and you're trying to move on to a better place with this rainbow, right? You're trying to find a way to get past needing to leave something. It was something that you cared about, whether it was a romantic relationship or not. It was definitely something that you cared about. And you may have walked away from it because the situation wasn't improving. It wasn't changing. You weren't maybe feeling as understood or supported as you wanted to with these cups in the center here. So maybe emotionally you were feeling unfulfilled or just not understood. And so you opted, you didn't see any movement, you didn't see any change, And so you opted to kind of move away from this and try to start new, try to find something that was better suited for your needs and what you want, okay? So let's see what else we can get here. The Nine of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. Yeah, I think you had other opportunities. I think you found someone. I think this situation was causing you a lot of anxiety, the fact that it wasn't moving forward, the fact that you weren't able to kind of get from the situation or this person what you needed or wanted. You chose you chose to nurture yourself, and or you found somebody that will nurture you the way that you want to be nurtured. So you found something that works better for you, that's more compatible for you. In the emotions department, again, this could be, it could obviously be a relationship, but this could also be like a job opportunity or a friendship. You found a person, you found a group, you found a job, you found a hobby or a creative activity, which is helping you to kind of center yourself and get back into a place of love, either with somebody else or with yourself, okay? It's very nurturing energy here with the Mother of Pentacles. But it looks like this kind of stagnation and maybe the stress, it looks like you've left that behind, because as we move this way, things are looking like you're really trying to move forward, or you are moving forward. Woo. All right, let's see what else we can get here. Two of Swords. Yeah, you might have been really torn for a while on how to kind of resolve this situation. And in the end, it looks like you decided to walk away from it, right? But an end with the Two of Swords, it's often, we know that we need to deal with something and we're just not, we're either not ready, or, you know, we're too busy, or whatever the case may be, but we're just not looking at it. We know that we need to, but we're purposefully not dealing with it, is basically the message of the Two of Swords. The Son of Swords, which is basically the Knight of Swords. When you decided to make the decision, you probably made it pretty quickly with this Son of Swords here. It may have taken you a while to get to the place where you were ready to make a decision, but once you made the decision, it looks like you acted pretty quickly. The Father of Pentacles, yeah. And once you set your mind to what it was that you were going to do, you followed through. And the goal here, this kind of reoccurring theme on the side, is that your emotional stability, your financial stability, your stability in general ended up being top priority for you, which is what helped you make this final decision, is what it looks like, okay? Yeah. You did what was right for you. Yep, and you're starting over. You know, this has opened up an opportunity to have a brand new start for you. So with Coyote Spirit here, what I'm getting is that you might have been involved in the past with energies that weren't supporting you, that trickster energy. You may have gotten lulled or comfortable in a relationship, in a job, in something that wasn't necessarily helping you to grow, whichever way you were looking at growing, whether it was financially, whether it was spiritually, whether it was emotionally, whether it was like, I want to be engaged and be married, whatever the scenario was for you, someone or something, job that you were involved with, they might have been promising a raise for the last few years and just not getting it, right? relationship, been in a relationship for a long time, and it's just not going anywhere. We're not moving in together, or we're moving in together, but we moved in together, but like no engagement, and so on and so forth, right? So it's that type of kind of, that's the trickster energy that I'm getting from this reading based on this Coyote Spirit card. But you are, it looks like you're definitely on a path of, okay, so with this Four of Cups, you, looks to me like you're going to be much more cautious and careful next time around. So we have the Two of Cups here. And I am suspecting, I'm going to get some more cards here, but I'm suspecting that this Two of Cups relates more to you than it does you and someone else. Like, you are learning to enjoy being with you. And if this does involve another person, which it could, you're going to be much more thoughtful and careful about how you get yourself involved with somebody in the future, right? Because you don't want to, this is very clear in your mind still, and you don't want to go back here. You just moved away from that. And this Four of Cups is signaling to me that whatever this love is, whether it's for yourself or whether it's for someone new, this Ace of Cups, you are going to be much more careful about who and what you share your emotions and your love with, right? So you're just going to be more particular going forward so that you don't get stuck again in a situation which wasn't fulfilling to you, okay? Yeah. Two of Pentacles. And the Hermit. Okay, so these cards are starting to confirm that kind of what I was picking up on here, which is you might be opting to kind of just do your own thing for a while. And you might have options. You might have options to explore with other people. But you are opting to kind of take care of you is what it looks like. So for most of the people finding this reading that are resonating with this, it could be with another person. And if you are with another person, right, so if you've chosen to start expressing yourself or sharing all these cups, your love, your emotions with somebody else, you're still making sure that you take time for you is what I'm getting from these cards, okay? The Chariot. Moving forward, moving on to better, and Chariot better, right? Chariot is like progress, yes. The Seven of Pentacles, you're moving towards progress. You're not sure where it's going to go yet, right? We don't know exactly how it's going to end up, but you're definitely moving forward and you're making progress. And the Devil. So there may be, so a couple of things I'm getting here with this. It could be that when you left this situation, your financial stability was altered a bit, right? So the Devil is the contracts and the material things that keep us bound. So you could have moved away. Once you moved away from this situation, it could have destabilized your financial, your monetary situation. You might have had to move. You might have had to, kind of rebuild a house or an apartment, meaning like had to refurnish it. Maybe more expenses now, right? If you're living on your own, all of that could be here. And that ties in with the Seven of Pentacles too, right? So you're moving on, you're moving forward. And with the Chariot, it really does look like it's something bigger and better, but you're still not sure where this is going, right? This is still like I don't know exactly how I'm going to pull this off or where this is going to end up, but you're going forward anyway. And I say kudos to you, because a lot of people don't have the courage to do that. And I think that's just amazing. All right, anything else that we can get here? The Tower. The World. All right, I think this may have been in the Eight of Wands. So there's that quickness again. And with the Tower too, right? So however this played out for you in the past, I'm getting the vibe here that this was actually kind of destined. You needed to go through this. It was kind of a learning tool for you. It was a learning experience for you. And, you know, with that Knight of Swords, this Tower, and this Eight of Wands, the quickness at which you probably experienced the change that we're seeing here, it was a world rocker. It really was. You know, we're getting you complete it. Almost, the feeling I'm getting is like you really it was a complete shift for you. Something that you were very familiar with, something that was probably very comfortable for you. You were probably there for a while. Now it's just like it almost was like a complete upheaval of what you were used to. And there probably was a little bit of financial, maybe, you know, instability that came along with that. Hopefully this devil isn't signaling that you're choosing to cope with the situation with alcohol and or drugs. So hopefully that's not the strong bit that I'm getting here. But with the devil, that can always be, you know, we sometimes can get sucked into, you know, a coping mechanism that isn't necessarily healthy when we see the devil. But for me here, I'm getting more that this is a financial kind of instability or challenge. And with the World and the Tower, and just there are a lot of cards here that are signaling this to me, but the Tower and the World together that came out here at the end, I really do think that this was something that I don't know if you're finding comfort in that, but this is something that you needed to go through. This is something that you needed to experience in order to kind of move forward, right? So this Eight of Wands energy moves us forward. It's quick, and sometimes quick, it doesn't give us a lot of time to adjust. But as we saw over here, you're in that adjustment period now. And you're very probably, most of you are taking this time, right? So you're kind of the Fool, you're in this new energy space, you're doing this new thing, and you're probably taking the time to get to know who you are now in this different place, without this other situation, whether it was a job or a person or whatever. You're really taking the time to kind of rediscover and get to know yourself, which is amazing, right? A lot of people don't take the time to do that. And I'm guessing a lot of you here, this was a challenging situation. But it looks like you're on the other side of it, right? It really does look like you're on the other side of it, and the energy is all positive moving forward. The challenges all came out over on this side. All right. So keep going, keep exploring, keep learning about who you are now in this new space, and keep plugging away with the Seven of Pentacles. Keep working on whatever it is that you're working on, and keep this positive attitude with the Chariot. Keep moving forward with a positive attitude. All right, this all looks really good over on this side. All right, let's move on to the next one. Take care. Okay, for those of you that chose the Kyanite, let's take a look at your animal spirit message, and then we'll get into the tarot. You have Panther Spirit, reclaim your power. So I want to read you what is in the book for these messages today. Panther Spirit, reclaim your power. It takes courage to face challenges, and right now, Panther Spirit is here to say that you are braver than you think. Now is the time to take a risk and step into a different aspect of your being. Speak as you have never spoken before. Act as you have always dreamed you might have the courage to act. Love fearlessly and fully, and expect to feel the adrenaline rush as you are initiated into a new, braver, bolder self. Panther Spirit says the time for dreaming about what you want to do is giving way to that first courageous act towards reclaiming your Panther Spirit and power. Your new identity may feel strange at first, but you have what it takes, and your soul wants this. Be bold. Okay, so it looks like we have some change coming in that you may be grappling with, that you may be trying to kind of, get your heart and head and spirit around. So let's see what the tarot gives us for clarification. We have the Five of Pentacles. the Eight of Pentacles, and the Daughter of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. So this looks like there may be a bit of some financial challenge that has come in. Woohoo! Wow! So that was either Spirit's way of signaling, yep, that's it, or nope, you're not on target there. Oh my goodness. You may be feeling disempowered in the financial department, right? So there might have been a serious challenge to your finances, and that might be where this Panther Spirit is coming in to encourage you to find some empowerment there. And, you know, with this Daughter of Cups, this may be posing an emotional burden, emotional challenge on you, yeah. So you may be feeling a little stuck in the finance department at the moment. The Lovers, which way do I go with this? Well, you know, how do I resolve this? How do I bring myself back into this financial stability and find this emotional balance and stability that I'm assuming you once had? Okay, so what I'm working on right now is that something came in and disrupted your security, probably financially. You're kind of in this holding pattern with it. You're trying to reconfigure and figure out, how do I best go about this in the future? How do I kind of resolve this going forward? And it's likely taking an emotional toll. With the Page of Cups too, you may be trying to talk to friends and spiritual counselors and advisors about the situation. But you're trying to figure out a way to reconcile. Somehow I feel like I need to let that drooping rose show. Okay. The Nine of Wands. I think you may be feeling a bit defeated. Again, this is why I think Panther Spirit is here to help encourage you to find that inner strength, to push forward and to help you make the decisions that you need to make. You know, you're in this like a defensive holding pattern. Doesn't feel like this is a very comfortable place for you. It looks like with this Eight of Pentacles, you're making efforts to try to stabilize. With this Eight of Pentacles and this Lovers like this, you're making efforts to try to stabilize the situation. And we'll keep getting cards, but right now it's looking like you're not quite there yet. And so you're in this posture of, how am I going to get this figured out? I'm getting emotionally exhausted by this. You know, how am I going to pull this off? Well, you know, where do I need to focus my energy? So let's see if we can get you some help there. So this Ten of Swords means the worst has happened. It's all kind of new and moving forward from here, which when you're stuck in a situation like this, you know, is like, all right, fine, great, I get it, but like how, right? How am I supposed to move forward? I think one of the keys here with the Ten of Swords is to acknowledge that the worst has happened, you've experienced it, it's all intended to get better from here, it's all intended for your growth from here, even though when you're stuck in the middle of the beginning of something, it's a big challenge. Okay, Three of Swords. So contracts and agreements had to be broken. Again, signaling to this emotional, you know, instability and challenge. The Six of Swords, or excuse me, that's the Seven of Swords. All right, so for some of you, this financial instability came through your account may have been hacked. You may have been expecting money. You might have had an agreement with somebody and they didn't hold up their end of the bargain. okay? And so you've almost kind of had to eat, so to speak, what you were expecting. Eat meaning you've had to just let it go. Like you've had to accept, what's a better way to say it? You've had to accept the way things worked out with this, even though it looks pretty shitty. And so you've had to move forward in a direction that you weren't expecting, and you're still trying to figure out how to restabilize. You're still in a position where you're like, I don't know if I can even trust someone or a business partner again, right? So your foundation has been shaken, and you're even trusting your intuition. That's another thing I can get with this. Because things were agreed upon and were not maintained or held, and someone seems to have gotten away with something, it may have rocked your trust in humanity, or even your own intuition, right? It may have rocked your trust, and can I even trust myself to make decisions that are in my best interest? You know, I've been there myself. I can understand that point of view too. So the 10 of Cups. I think there may have been a promise of something that was really going to work out beautifully, and something that was going to really work out in your best interest, and it just did not turn out the way that you were expecting. And it's almost kind of like you've had to start from scratch again. It's like you had to scrap this because it totally didn't work out. And as a matter of fact, it seems like it worked out where you were the one in the situation that benefited the least, or not at all, in this situation. And so now you're in this defensive posture where you're having to kind of start over again. And again, this is Panther Spirit coming in to say you have the inner strength, you have the courage in you, you just have to find it again, right? The Son of Pentacles, I like that. That's the Knight of Pentacles. I like that. The Chariot. And the Queen of Wands. So the Son of Pentacles is a methodical energy that plans what he or she is going to do thoughtfully, and then executes. All right? So I think the suggestion here is to trust yourself again. You know, understand that acknowledged shitty situation did not work out in your best interest. You're having to reconfigure and rebalance now. Understandably, you're in a posture where you might be questioning your own intuition, and you might be questioning trusting people in general. Granted, acknowledged by the cards. Panther Spirit is here to say, almost kind of like snap out of it. You can dig deep within yourself and find that inner strength that you once had. Rebuild your trust and your intuition, so that you can know better in the future who to trust and who to just kind of let move by. The Son of Pentacles, and the reason I say all that is because the Son of Pentacles does exactly that. He weighs all of his options, he plans, and then he executes, and he does it patiently. There's no rushing with the Son of Pentacles. The Chariot is a positive movement forward. So there is, again, you know, like you just have to find that will and that desire that you may have once had to just move past the situation, you know. You're trying to figure out how to balance it. I think one of the keys here is to remember that you have this inner strength inside of you, and that the universe wants you to move forward in a very positive way. The Queen of Wands, the Mother of Wands, for me, is an amazing energy, because while she can nurture, she's also a badass, right? The Queen of Wands is a badass. You know, she's open. She embraces her sexuality. She knows how to get shit done when she wants to get shit done. She knows how to be calm when she needs to be calm. She knows how to kick ass when she needs to kick ass. So like the Mother of Wands for me is like one of the coolest energies, I think. So the encouragement here is to, you know, find your inner badass, find your inner panther spirit, and allow yourself to express again, and maybe be a little bit more protective next time around, so that we don't do this again, right? Because this was obviously no fun. This looks like it was no fun at all. So let's see what else we can get. So here's the Daughter of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Four of Wands. Yeah, so the suggestion here is to kind of reimagine. So with this page and this Four of Wands, reimagine how you want your life to look, how you want that stability to feel. And here it comes, and there it is right there, right? And then it'll find you, right? But you have to start with that inspiration and that intuition, and really understand for yourself what you want your stability to look like, whether that's financially, whether it's in a relationship, whatever the case may be, all applies. How do you want this to look? Get clear on that, and then put the energy forward. Pull from your Panther spirit, you know, tap into your Mother of Wands energy and start to manifest. You know, wands are an energy that we need for manifesting, and then once we're clear on what it is that we want, we can start to bring it towards us. You know, and the Two of Cups doesn't have to be romantic love. That could just be stability and balance within ourselves too. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to involve another person, but it could, right? The Mother of Swords, you know. Did we have... No, we did not in this reading. Okay. The Mother of Swords, for me, you know, the queens are a balance between water and whatever their other element is, right? So the Mother of Swords is, for me, a balance between water and air energy. And so she can tap into her emotions. And for me, with the Mother of Swords, the strong tap into her intuition. She trusts her intuition. And with the water energy, she is able to discern between making decisions emotionally versus making them logically. So she has that capability to toggle between the emotions and the intellect. The Queen of Swords, the Mother of Swords, is like, you know, kind of top number one with of the court cards that has the capacity to do that, in my opinion. So again, an encouragement of what we talked about here, which is to, in the future, moving forward, in order for you to find this happiness within yourself and or with another person, there is a need to be more discerning and to find that balance between your emotions and your intuition and your intellect. Okay, so there's a balance there that I think you are being called to find, and it may be a challenge since Panther Spirit is here to support you. It may be a bit of a challenge for you to pull that, but it's there for you to find. You just have to kind of I'm getting the idea that you have to just kind of buckle down and learn how to retrust yourself. So with the World card here, and we're going to leave it here because the World is a beautiful energy to end on. There's an ending here, clearly, but there's also all this new, fresh energy that's looking to come in, that can come in if you embrace this Panther Spirit, if you embrace trusting yourself again and or trusting other people again, all right? So the encouragement here is to allow these new energies to come in, allow yourself this fresh new start, allow yourself to find this balance between emotions and intuition, emotions and intellect, you know, allow that to happen so that you can move forward in this beautiful energy that's here. All right. So I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to move on to the next set of cards. I hope you found that helpful. Good luck and take care. All right, for those of you that chose a Ulexite, let's take a look at your animal spirit message, and then we'll get into the tarot. You have Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation. All right, let's read to you from the book here for Beaver Spirit, and then we'll get into your cards. Beaver Spirit is here to tell you about a power living within you that is born of spirit, the source from which all life arises. This is the power to establish the sacred connection with the universal consciousness so you can deliberately co-create the world you desire. Know that it takes work, determination, and sustained effort to co-create and lay a solid foundation for your dreams. If, with spirit as your partner, you bring the twigs and branches of your intentions and desires and spread them across the river of time, you'll be amazed at what you can do. You will find that you can even change the direction of the flow of life. You can ensure that your world will be prosperous and purposeful, filled with love and joy, and rich with magic and meaning. That which you desire will come to you and remain sustainably if you build on a sturdy foundation. Keep your intention and energy consistent and deliberate, using all your resources and the energy of this wonderful, productive time. Have faith, for with Spirit to co-create with you, your success is assured. Spirit is your partner, helping you along as you change the course of your life in the way your heart desires. Okay, so it looks like we may be trying to build something or get some kind of stability or foundation in place. So let's see what we have. We have the Son of Swords, probably the least stable energy in the tarot deck. The Mother of Swords, there she is. That balance between intuition and emotions and intellect. The World. And the Devil. Okay. So I am getting a little bit of this foundation might be a challenge. So I can get a couple of things here. I'm gonna start with, we needed to cut some things out of our lives. It probably happened very quickly. It was a big shift. Something pretty major in our life needed to change or needed to end. And it very likely had to do with our money, our material possessions, our assets. This could be like losing a house. This could be losing the financial stability of a job. This could be, something looks like something was taken away. And that, I think, speaks to that foundation that we need to rebuild and find again. The Son of Swords, this deck is really super cute. Like, it's an owl, so it's probably not going to crash and burn, but that doesn't look like the most stable way to kind of fly around, right? Balancing on a sword through the air. So things might really be up in the air for you right now in terms of this stability that's being addressed with Beaver Spirit. The encouragement here for me is that the Mother of Swords is here. So there's an ability to tap into your intuition and couple that with the logic and the intellect. So let's see what else we get here. The Nine of Cups. I don't know why this music keeps doing this to me with these dang... sorry about that. I'm having a serious issue with my music situation today. I apologize. The Two of Swords. The Lovers. and the Nine of Wands. I got really similar cards, y'all, for the last reading. I did Kyanite before this, and the cards were similar, so you might want to maybe take a look at that one too, okay? And obviously, you know, I shuffle between these, so it's interesting. So these cards all speak to, you know, kind of needing to rebalance and reconfigure. You may not be sure which way to go right now. You may not be sure which way is the happy place that you once had. So for me, this is the place where you were, and I'm assuming the place you would want to return, because the Nine of Cups for me is a very happy, content, stable energy. You may be trying to figure out how to get back there, and so you're kind of stuck in this Two of Swords, the Lover's energy, which is trying to find a way to kind of rebalance and restabilize, which we heard here with Beaver Spirit. You know, this Nine of Wands with this Devil card, you may be in a very defensive posture right now, just because your material possessions may be... you may have been left with kind of bare bones, is what I'm getting here with this. Like you may have a fraction of what you started out with, is what I'm getting. If for some of you this has to do with addiction, and I'm not going to dwell on that, because if you are having addiction issues, then you should be seeking advice in places other than tarot readings on YouTube, okay? But for some of you, if that's the case, then that is what's preventing you from having this stability. Obvi, but sometimes we need to hear the obvi, right? So I'm going to leave that there, because that's pretty obvious, but I can see that with these cards too. All right, so let's see what else we get here. The Eight of Cups. Yeah, you reluctantly had to walk away from something. And the Star. It was probably something that you really worked hard for. It was something that you really loved. It was something that you really wanted. You may have had to walk away from a dream job, a dream house, a dream situation of some variety, where it was just like you were really in a good spot, you know, with this Nine of Cups and this Star like this, and it looks like you had to walk away from it. You had to leave it, or it had to leave you. And now you're in this place of, you know, well, what do I do now? You know, I'm holding on to the bare bones that I have. I'm holding on to what I have left, but what do I do with it, right? How do I move forward with this world? How do I rebalance my energies with this Lover's card? You know, how do I go about making this decision? It might be a challenging decision to make, which may be preventing you from actually taking action and making the decisions that you need to make, or you prevented making some decisions in the past, and that was part of the reason why the situation is what it is today. That's another thing I can see here. The Four of Wands. So likely this has to do with home and or family, okay? Just the cards were kind of leaning that way anyway, but with this Four of Wands, it likely has to do with home and family. Strength. So interesting that it came out right with this Lover's card and the World, because I think in order for you to get this, to really kind of close this chapter out and to move forward into something new, both of these cards speak to balance. Strength for me is finding that balance between what we're doing on the inside and what we are doing on the outside. So where are we putting our energies? And are we nurturing and taking care of ourselves Are we balanced within ourselves? Are we balancing the way that we are, you know, taking care of our emotions? Are we balancing the way that we are taking care of listening to our intuition with all of the external things and responsibilities that we have? Making money, taking care of a house, taking care of children, like all of these things, right? The Daughter of Cups, just the Page of Cups. So you may seek some counseling or therapy or something to help you kind of talk through and get through this. There might even be a financial counselor available to you at this time that you could speak to with this Daughter of Cups to help you kind of work through what the best next move or moves will be for you in this situation. The Two of Pentacles, yeah. This has to do with material resources, you know. The Devil's here, the Two of Pentacles are here. It's like, how do I make this work? You know, I'm getting the feeling that you have less now than what you started with, and you're really trying to kind of get that figured out, okay? And Father of Pentacles, yeah, there's that stability again, where how do I find this stability again? And the Son of Cups. So what I'm getting for you here, okay, so a lot of this was just kind of trying to confirm for you that if this is resonating for you, the key messages here are you're going to need to rebuild, clearly. Whatever this foundation was that you lost, whether it was financial and or a home, it looks like you're going to need to rebuild. And so the suggestion here is to pull on Beaver Spirit, to utilize Beaver Spirit in order to help you find a way to do that, because it's clear that something was challenged and lost here, okay, and that now you're trying to figure out a way to rebalance and reconfigure. The other thing that I can suggest for you here is with the Daughter of Cups and the Son of Cups, these are both signaling to me that it may be in your best interest, if you haven't talked with anybody about this, if you've kept this to yourself and you're like suffering in silence type of deal, there's a suggestion here that it would be helpful for you to talk with somebody about it, whether it's a counselor or a financial advisor or a combination of both, and even a trusted friend or family member if that's an option to you. Otherwise, there are plenty of professionals out there that can help you think through and talk through situations like this, so that it can help you get you back on a path, because I think you're trying to figure out how right now, and so there's a little bit of stuck energy here. You're in your head. You're trying to kind of reconfigure, trying to figure out what my next move is, and you're not exactly sure which way to go. But all of this is very heavy. Like, this is all kind of weighing pretty heavy. And so, again, suggestion, talk with people about it. Talk with professionals. You can talk with friends if you have that opportunity about the emotional piece of the toll that this is taking. But again, you know, seek help. You don't have to do this alone, right? You don't have to do this alone, and talking with other people can help you find this balance that's all kind of in this piece right here, you know? All right, I'm gonna let that lay there. I think there was a couple of pieces that you can action there if this resonated for you. And yeah, and there we go, the Two of Cups. So Daughter of Cups, Son of Cups, Two of Cups. I think one of the keys here to helping you rebuild this foundation that may have been lost is you might need help, okay? And you might be the type of person that doesn't accept outside help very easily. Guilty as charged, I understand that. Seek some advice. Seek some advice from outside help, so that you can find it'll help you rebalance. It'll help you kind of get back on track, okay? All right, I hope you found that helpful, and I hope to see you around my channel. Take care. Okay, for those of you that chose the Amethyst, let's take a look at your animal spirit message, and then we'll start digging into the tarot. So you have Badger Spirit in reverse, be fearless and bold. And I'm going to read to you from the book for these messages today, okay? So let's see what Badger Spirit has to say. Badger Spirit in reverse, the protection message reads, when Badger Spirit comes to protect you, he reminds you that anger or aggression, argumentative behavior, and being pushy or manipulative will not result in a positive outcome. Perhaps someone close to you has excess Badger energy, or perhaps that energy is pent up in you. Either way, now is the time to calm down and allow the energy to pass through you. Go for a hike or a brisk walk, shake it off or dance it out so you can return to the situation determined and committed, but not so intense that you overwhelm others and yourself. The appearance of Badger Spirit also serves as a reminder if you have been relentlessly pursuing something that keeps eluding you. The message is that it's time to surrender it up to your higher power and focus on something else. Badger Spirit wants to protect you from self-will run rampant, from being obsessed with getting what you want in the form you prefer, in timing that fits perfectly with your notions of what has to be. Remember, the world doesn't revolve around your wants. Better, more beautiful opportunities will be the result when you release some of that Badger Spirit intensity, along with your need to have it your way 100%. Okay, well, that's going to put some people on the defensive, isn't it? So hopefully if you're here listening to this tarot reading, you are open to hearing some tough love, because that was some tough love advice from Badger Spirit, okay? We have the Two of Wands. There's that pursuing. The Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords. So I think you're having some, whatever this is that you're trying to have or create, you're focused on this Nine of Pentacles stability. Nine of Pentacles is also a very ruthless type of energy, honestly. You get to the Nine of Pentacles by being able to cut things out of your life that are no longer necessary, and so there's a little bit of ruthlessness to the Nine of Pentacles that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's definitely there in the symbology of that card. And with the Nine of Swords, you know, your relentless pursuit of whatever this is, this intense focus that you have on whatever this thing is that you want, is very likely causing you some anxiety here. So you're going to have to ask yourself if it's worth it, because you are probably stressing yourself out, is what this looks like, okay? This is the Seven of Wands. So yeah, you're really fighting for something. You're defending something. You're Mother of Cups. You might even be very emotionally defensive about it as well. And so the way the defensiveness may come out is through emotional outbursts, the Eight of Swords. So you might have emotional outbursts, and then you might retreat, and then kind of go through I'm getting kind of guilt. So and then the anxiety that comes from that, right? So I'm getting like a cycle. I'm getting a cycle of push for this thing that I want, And then when I'm not getting it, or people aren't listening to me, or people aren't hearing me, or I'm feeling disrespected, whatever the case is, there are probably emotional outbursts. And then in order to defend yourself, that's the way that it's coming out. And then you retreat, and then there's the whole process of you having to process what just happened during your retreat, and it probably gives you some anxiety, and then the cycle starts over, is what I'm getting with this, okay? We have the Four of Cups. Everything that you've tried so far doesn't seem to have worked, has it? Especially since it's coming from an emotional place. That may not be the solution. I'm wagging my finger at you. The solution may not be to handle this, whatever this is, emotionally, all right? Seven of Pentacles. There needs to be some more thought and patience. Patience, 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 tied to whatever this is that you want. Patience, okay? Two of Swords. Are you even 100% sure what you want, or are you just fighting for something for the sake of fighting for it? That's another question to ask yourself if this is resonating for you. Are there decisions in front of you that you could consider and act on, and you're choosing not to act on them because this pattern, this cycle that you've gotten into is just easier because it's familiar? Maybe a little bit of self-sabotage here as well with the Two of Swords coming out. So this situation may not be resolving itself because it's coming from, because your reaction to it is emotional. And there seems to be a bit of a cyclic pattern because there are ways, I think you have some awareness of ways that you could shift this, but it's just easier to keep doing things the way that we've always done them, because, and I'm not blaming you, it actually is quite hard. And that's one of the reasons meditation is a beautiful tool and a beautiful practice, because it helps us rewire our brains. The reason we have reactions, the split second reactions, right? Because our neurons are already wired to have that reaction to a particular familiar thing, and I am getting that this is a familiar thing. So it's normal because it's ingrained in your neurons already. It's already, that those pathways already exist, and they're strong because you keep reinforcing them, right? So one of the keys here, I think, to solving this Badger spirit in reverse energy is if you don't practice meditation, to consider doing that. And I will tell you that if you don't practice meditation, meditation is really, really difficult, and don't be discouraged, right? So if you find it near impossible for the first few weeks, that's totally normal, and we all go through that. And I promise you, if you keep at it, it will get better. It will get easier. You know, give yourself 5 minutes when you first start. If you've never meditated, if you don't meditate, 5 minutes seems like an eternity, and just build from there. It takes time. And the longer you do it and the more you practice, I promise you, you will have the capacity to reframe this and rewire this, okay? Whatever this is. Two of Cups. How you relate to other people. Six of Cups. How you relate to your family. Six of Wands. How do you accept help from the outside? How do you accept acknowledgement and recognition from the outside? Do you have the capacity to accept, are you able to accept recognition and kudos from the outside, or do you find that difficult? Is that a challenge for you? The Mother of Wands. How bold are you in your actions? Are you overly protective? Are you too bold? Are you too arrogant? Is there a level of egocentrism that might be part of the challenge with Badger spirit in reverse here? And the Ten of Swords. Okay, so this energy needs to shift. All right, it really does need to shift. And I think because the Two of Swords is here, that you probably have a level of awareness, excuse me. You probably have a level of awareness that this does need to shift, that you might be overly aggressive, that it is impacting your friendships, your romantic relationships, your relationships with your family, and your relationships with public, the work. You know, I can see the Six of Wands being, you know, this is how we are in public. It's like 10th house energy if you're into astrology. How we're perceived in the public, how we're received within our family, and how we're received within our close friends and our romantic partners. It's just, they all kind of came out like this, right? I think you have a level of awareness that something needs to shift. I think how to do it is what's eluding you. And I'm going to, you know, just reiterate the importance of, I'm going to reiterate the importance of meditation for you. And if you haven't considered, if you watch my channel, you'll hear me say this a lot. You know, I'm an advocate of going to talk to a therapist, and you keep going until you find somebody that works with you, because not all therapists are going to work for you. So you just kind of have to keep, it's another thing like with meditation. You just have to kind of keep at it until you find somebody that you like, until you find somebody that resonates for you. So that combination of meditation and maybe talking to a cognitive behavioral therapist, possibly, to help kind of shift some of this energy, okay? Because there's a sense of lack here. So you may feel because this is what it is, and because you kind of find yourself stuck in this loop, you may feel very distanced from everyone, right? You may feel like you can't figure out how to connect. And it weighs on you, whether or not you let people see that. You know, some of us walk through life, which is like you never let them see you sweat type of deal. Never let them see you have a challenge, but on the inside, you may really be struggling with this, okay? And it's something that you need to kind of really take a look at and make some actions, make some decisions about how you're going to help resolve this. Because there's some emotional instability in the energy here. Yeah, this Eight of Cups. Okay, so this may have cost you, this cycle, this pattern that you find yourself in may have cost you quite a few relationships in the past, okay? You may have had to walk away, or people may have had to walk away from you because this was just too overwhelming for them. And I know this is really hard to hear, so I'm sorry. This last reading is a little bit of a tough love one. But please take into consideration what I said, what I suggested about the meditation and seeking a behavioral therapist to help you kind of find more productive ways to express yourself that won't leave you feeling isolated or and won't alienate other people as well, because part of this is, and I don't think that your intention is that, but part of this is that these reactions that are there, and I think, like I said, there's an awareness here that you have of the repercussions of your actions. I don't think that you're oblivious. You definitely have an awareness. I think what's eluding you is how to change it. You've seen it. You've seen it over and over again. It's just, and there's probably a level of frustration here with this Nine of Swords. It's like, why does this keep happening? How come I can't figure this out? Like you probably tell yourself, like, I'm gonna shift this, or I'm not gonna do this again, and lo and behold, it happens again, right? And so there's that cyclical pattern that I was picking up on. And it leaves you feeling isolated from other people, and it leaves other people feeling isolated from you too. You know, they may not be able to give you the kudos that you want, and you may not be able to receive the kudos that you want because in a sense, you've isolated yourself, right, from being able to connect. You know, there's a level of vulnerability that's probably missing here. I'm going to leave that there because that's pretty heavy. And I hope that you found that helpful. I hope you at least acknowledges for you what you've been experiencing, and that you find some comfort in that, okay? And I wish you the best. Take care.